Hey guys, I'm your host Travis, and today, yep, you guessed it, we're going to be talking about California knives. And what a crazy time in America. 1847, the population was estimated to be around 400 people in San Francisco. By the next year, that number was 25,000, and by 1852, a staggering 150,000 people inhabited the city. So it was a mass migration, a global event, everybody heading to California to strike it rich on the gold fields. So knife makers at the time thought it would be a great idea to market Bowie knives because, if you were going to head to the gold fields, you'd want a good pistol, a rifle, and certainly a good Bowie knife. So there was really, in my opinion, two categories of Bowie knives. There was the knives that people took with them, and then they were the knives that were made a little bit later on after the gold rush had, made these booming towns. Then you had local cutlers like Michael Price and Will Fink started making knives there in California. So, in order to afford one of those knives, you already had to have struck it rich, and now you were just showing off. So let's just talk about some of these knives that were marketed to people to be used on the way there. So these would be knives like Wostenholm. Now, I don't know if you can see this one or not, but it's got a faint California knife etch on it. It's hard to get that to show up in the camera, but I'm hoping you can get some of that there and you can see it. This is a really cool knife, ivory handle, coffin-shaped hilt, full tang, really unusual guard. Normally these are squared off, but you see how these just really come to this almost like a sharpened blade right there to the tip, and really cool. And it's also peened right there, which is really unusual. Nice false edge that's sharpened. It's got the full tip on it, and you can see that tang stamp on that. It's a really cool and desirable early stamp. So, when you see stuff like that, you can pretty much date this knife to late 1840s, early 1850. So that is another one. And let's take this knife. This is another IXL. This is a rather large knife, but when we take it off here, what do we see? California Bowie knife. Now, what makes this one very exceptional and rare is the fact that it has ciphers on the blade. It has like a hunting scene. There's a man on horseback with dogs chasing either a deer or an elk, some sort of stag or something. But really cool knife, long, big blade, just a stag handle. And when you find these, they're always held in place by that one little iron pin there, and holds them in place really, really well. You usually always have the nickel silver cap on the end. S-guard and nickel silver, and it's not flat. It's sort of smoothed and rounded and really thick piece of nickel silver there. So really nice guard. And we know they stopped putting ciphers on knives around 1849, I believe. So this knife was probably manufactured somewhere around then, and then they applied this California Bowie knife in a gold etch to market this knife to people on their way to the gold fields. So if you were going, you would want a nice knife to have on you to protect yourself and to protect your gold if you struck it rich. This one's got a lot of original polish on it, and you know that when you can see the gold etch. Still in really, really good shape. So the next knife I want to talk about now are knives that were actually made in California. Now this knife here, this one we attribute it to Will Fink. I've seen other knives just like it that were marked, but these California makers, they used local materials. And so, this is silver here on the ricasso so that it fits tight into the sheath. And all of this is inlaid abalone shell. And it's wrapped in nickel silver, and it's got these really cool little square nickel silver nails that kept this all the way around. And I've seen one of these before that some of this was missing. And this tang is actually surrounded by wood. So this is like, nailed in here and just wrapped, and then all this really nice local material, which is abalone shell, just inlaid in the handle. And it is just really beautiful. And these California knives, they're you never find them big like this, in this style, in the dagger style. They were really for show and for dress, but just really cool. And they usually, most of them have nickel silver sheaths like this. So this one here, I believe, was probably made by Will and Fink. That's the best guess on that one. Let's see, what else do we have? Ah, yes. One of my prize and joys. This is a knife made by Michael Price. Somewhere along his life, an owner by the name of the initials TF put his name in there. Now this is elk horn, and generally when you see these knives, this elk horn will shrink, and then you can, see the tang kind of exposed there. But Michael Price just put a great taper on this. I mean, look at that distal taper on that tang. Look at that. Isn't that beautifully done? And it just gets thinner and thinner and thinner all the way towards the pommel. And you can see the pins with the washers there, the way that was fastened. Nickel silver sheath with the belt clip. And there you have it. There is the Michael Price stamp. And just these knives are never really that big, but boy, they are really, really well made. Now, one thing you'll always see on this style of California knife is that these guards are always made of steel and not nickel silver like this one is. And there's a reason for that. This guard had to have been put on before he started forming this tang. So this guard would have been slid on, and then that tang was, forged out and heated to get this shape. So if you use nickel silver and then you're still forging and heating up this tang, it would melt. So you had to use an iron guard. And this one's just got a really, really cool grind on it. I mean, look at that false edge goes all the way up to the very beginning of, it goes all the way up to the ricasso right there. And then it's sharp from about this point all the way over. And that is just a really, really cool knife. This is the only Michael Price that I own. And this, they all have little special features. I mean, look how this one was just sort of ground in right there on the ricasso on both sides. Just a really cool touch. And great blade on it. And it's just a really prize knife. So, just wanted to show you guys. I think it goes in that way. There we go. Yep. Some knives that were marketed for the gold rush, and then some that were made in San Francisco. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.